What led to the First World War? In school, when we learn about this topic, the first reason that comes to mind is the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of the Austro-Hungarian Empire by a Serbian ultranationalist group on June 28, 1914. However, as with any historical event, when seeking more comprehensive answers about what truly motivated its occurrence, and aiming to better understand its historicity, it becomes evident that there is never a single reason in history, but rather a set of factors. Thus, we will delve deeper into the reasons that led to the First World War. The Great War, as it is also known, was the first major global armed conflict, directly or indirectly involving and influencing the daily lives of the 5 continents on Earth. In his bestseller, The Age of Extremes, published in 1994, British historian Eric Hobsbawm argued that the 20th century actually began with the outbreak of the First World War, edit 1898-1914. Although the thesis is much debated chronologically, Hobsbawm's refined perception and analysis highlight a significant socioeconomic and geopolitical rupture with the 19th century, which he called the Age of Empires, starting with the trigger of the Great War, marking the beginning of a new era filled with humanity's greatest known catastrophes. But after all, what were the other reasons that led to the First World War? One major factor, which is closely tied to the assassination of the Austrian Archduke, was extreme nationalism. This nationalism was the result of a long process in which European nations defined their territorial limits throughout the 18th and 19th centuries, building and inventing their own identity through a common language, a flag, norms, traditions, customs, and well-defined territorial borders. Many countries were created and dissolved during this period, such as Germany and Italy, both unified in 1871, and the opposite case of Poland, whose territory was divided among Germany, Austria, and Russia. A consequence of ultranationalism was European imperialism. Unsatisfied with their territories, European countries became involved in numerous land annexation conflicts. Notably, the Franco-Prussian War saw France and Germany fight over the Alsace-Lorraine region, resulting in a German victory and France losing territory and paying reparations to Germany for its defeat. The imperialism of these European nations also aimed to conquer new territories, not just ones that shared an identity or language with the conquering sovereign nation, but also ones that offered essential resources for the expansion and maintenance of the empire. This brings us to another fundamental point leading to the outbreak of the First World War: the scramble for Africa. Africa had already been a site of contention during the great navigations of the 15th and 16th centuries when Spain and Portugal were dominant. This early exploration allowed these nations to establish colonies in Africa and Asia, such as the Portuguese colonies of Angola and Mozambique, and the Spanish colonies of the Philippines and parts of Morocco. Additionally, these countries had a significant advantage, having exploited Latin American countries for centuries until the early 19th century. However, 2 other countries that came to dominate global culture and economy from the 18th century onward, France and England, became the leading powers in acquiring new colonies in Africa. From the mid-1880s, France conquered various territories in West, Central, and Island Africa, such as Senegal, Ivory Coast, and Madagascar. Meanwhile, the British took colonies in the Sahara and Southern Africa, such as South Africa, Egypt, Ghana, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone, as well as Lower Burma in India. Other major European nations also joined the race for African or even Asian territories. including Germany, Belgium, and Italy, which conquered colonies such as the Belgian Congo, German Namibia, and Italian Ethiopia. Yet, countries like Austria, the Netherlands, Denmark, Russia, and Norway were left without any African colonies, leading to dissatisfaction. The scramble for Africa culminated in a major diplomatic event known as the Berlin Conference, organized by German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck, where colonial policies and territorial demarcations on the continent were defined. However, the outcome did not meet the expectations of countries such as Italy, Austria, Belgium, and Germany, which, despite winning the Franco-Prussian War, hoped to expand their influence in Africa. Colonial tensions in Africa and Asia also fueled an arms race, leading to large stockpiles of weapons and ammunition, as well as research and development of new technologies. By 1890, war was inevitable and anticipated. It was only a matter of time. Countries like the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which were left empty-handed in the African campaign, had to make do with their European territories. However, the multicultural nature of this empire, with its 12 official languages, complicated its national identity, an essential element for sustaining other European empires. This led to the formation of separatist movements, such as the case of Serbia and the Balkans, which sought to create a large Slavic nation. This Slavic ultranationalism resulted in the assassination of the Austrian Archduke in 1914, the major trigger of the First World War, declared a month after the attack. Additionally, military alliances formed since the 1880s, such as the Triple Alliance. Austria, Germany, and Italy, and the Triple Entente, England, France, and Russia, further escalated tensions in the arms race in the decades leading up to the outbreak of the First World War, which lasted from 1914 to 1918. These factors provide a broader and more comprehensive explanation of what led to the first major global conflict, leaving a trail of destruction, particularly in Europe, and a death toll of 40 million, including both military and civilian casualties. For historian Eric Hobsbawm, this conflict was called by its contemporaries the war to end all wars, or even the last war, as it was unimaginable that anything worse could occur again. Unfortunately, as we know, it would take only 21 years for another global armed conflict to arise, leaving an even greater trail of destruction than its predecessor. This second conflict was fueled by totalitarian governments and revanchism that stemmed directly from the First World War.